Right, arguably one of the most sort of requested reviews that I haven't done as yet, and that's the new irons from Cobra. I've brought them outside for some testing on a par 3 course here at 4 Golf. We'll get them inside in terms of some dry ball data, and I'll let you know what I think about this, because it is, to be fair, a little bit different, and it's 3D printed, you know. I've no idea what that means. I haven't either, I've just read it on the back. Right, in recent, well, probably the last few years to be fair, Cobra have made massive strides in every market, and in recent weeks they've even released some putters which are getting some good mentions. So I thought it was about time we had a revisit and paid some attention to their new irons. The kind of rad speed range has been, again, mega popular. It hits a massive price point in terms of popularity. In that sense, it's on the cheaper end, but it performs incredibly well, although I can't back that up myself because I've not tested it. But the irons are really interesting for me. From speaking to the team here at 4 Golf, there's a lot of interest in them. From reading comments online, there's a lot of interest in them. So I thought it was about time, as an average golfer, we give them a bit of a go. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'll hit some balls behind me very shortly. The thing I want to say first of all is in terms of the looks. I think that Cobra have gone for a more, let's say, a more modern look. They're bright and bold in what they do. I think the players that they have on board are bright and bold in terms of their team. So for me, it kind of is maybe aimed at a slightly younger audience, and I applaud Cobra for doing that. For me, maybe falling into that slightly older category. I don't know whether that's the case, but in terms of visually, it's okay. I mean, it's 3D printed. I don't know what it means, and I've no idea what this, whether it refers to this plastic element in the back. It's not my cup of tea, I'll be honest with you. It looks okay. And then there's a big difference in terms of the top line. They've got some kind of like carbon look at the top. Visually, I don't mind it because it almost sort of insinuates a sort of slightly thinner top line than what is actually there, because it's quite hefty. So maybe visually that works. So overall, personally, okay in terms of looks, but not something I'm going to pick up and try. But we all know looks don't do nothing. It's all about the way it performs. So I'll hit some balls and give you some feedback. Right, so first, a few balls off the turf. Like I've just mentioned, it actually doesn't look too bad in terms of profile, because I'd still class this as a game improvement iron. I'm not sure what Cobra do, but sort of heel to toe overall profile, fairly compact. And I do like what I've said, that sort of carbon material that's placed in that top line does tend to thin it out of it. So visually, it's quite good. We're playing on what is a bit of a hybrid course here to try and get us a yardage over to a pin across the fairways, and not where we normally always should be playing, but we're early morning, nobody about, and we'll try and hit a green. That's bang on. Oh, you'll pick that ball flight up. We've got the yardage spot on. Interestingly enough, and I always do this, is a bit that baffles me a little bit. Well, it doesn't baffle me, I understand it. I've just marked out sort of 160 pin, just over 162 pin, which I think we've hit pin high there. In dry ball data, it comes out just a little bit longer than that. Again, strong lofted iron. But for me, what you play on the course and what you hit in terms of dry ball data in a driving range are often two totally different things. It's a lot easier and a lot freer the swing when you've not got to worry about obstacles in the way. In terms of how the ball went off, good. Launch is incredibly high, and I love what it does in terms of performance. I'm going to switch you back inside for a second, and I've picked up some audio on how these things strike. Place the microphone close to the ball and see what you think in terms of the sound that comes off these things. That could be 2 from 2, you know, there, bang on. The only trouble is you never do this in reality when you're out on the fairways, or the real fairways when it matters, a scorecard in hand. Going back to the audio, the reason I picked that up, for me, the clubs perform incredibly well in terms of what I'd be looking at in terms of dry ball data, and we might as well get into that now, because if you see a cross-section of shots, it does well. There's a few variables in there in terms of ball speed, which sort of suggests that off-centre hits, and when I've not quite got it right, it's not quite as forgiving as I would have liked to have seen, because there is a drop-off between the ball speeds, and it's quite a bit. But in terms of how high the ball launches, if that's where you're looking for some assistance, again, ball goes into orbit. It's got a decent spin number on, again, for the strength of loft this is. So again, defies all that nonsense about strong lofted irons and how they're low spinning and all the rest of it. That's not what happens in these clubs anymore. So a good spin number, great launch angle, great descent angle, as you can see, and a great carry distance. The problem for me, I go back to the sound. It's incredibly, I don't know what the word sharp is on the ears. And again, I've not heard back that audio that we recorded before, so maybe we picked it up, maybe we didn't. Little bit loud for me, little bit harsh, and would be the one major negative. Other than that, I've only got a 7-iron in hand, but it'd be very hard to find a criticism in these irons at this stage. Right, I'm going to overlay 3 shots with just some, unfortunately I don't have a full set to test with, so I've only got 7-iron. One of the things, Cobra don't send me anything direct, so it's very difficult for me to test, because what manufacturers do is, if you've got a pitching wedge, if I've got a 7-iron, if I've got a long iron, I feel I can give a better appraisal in terms of a product review. And in this case, we just wait till the products come into 4Golf, therefore I'm late in terms of testing, therefore I've only got a 7-iron, and it becomes not a lot I can do. But we'll do our best with what we've got, and I've just tried a few chip and runs here with a 7-iron, again not ideal, but the thing I wanted to test was in terms of feel. And although I said pretty much negative in terms of either sound, which often resonates in feel, what you'll see from the 3 chip shots or chip and runs is we was able to adapt to what we were seeing and what we were feeling. So the first 2 were a little bit long and again fired out there. It is a bit fiery off the face, but again, 3rd shot a little bit closer, and again that to me tells me that I'm getting something back into their hands, which means the feel element, although the sound isn't great, from a feel perspective it's kind of okay, and certainly for the category that it falls into. So the final question is this for me, it's the Cobra thing, and how many of you are influenced by the price point that Cobra have come in by, because I think that's one of the most impressive things. And then going back to the looks, again, what are your thoughts? And are you similar to me and you think that it's more aimed at a younger audience? I don't know, might be a complete misunderstanding from my perspective in terms of what I'm seeing. And finally, the thing I want to mention is about the Average Golfers Club. I'm determined to mention it on every video I do from now on. And it's really important for members that get, effectively, the major deal you get is 10% off all the products that I review. Any product that's available out there in the golf world right now, 4Golf give you 10% by being a member of the Average Golfers Club. Way to find out more details is the averagegolfer.co.uk, and I'll stick a link down below. But honestly, so many golfers are saving themselves, as well as other things, they're saving a heck of a lot of money off their new golf products at the minute. Right, that's me done, we're finished. It's not too bad in terms of weather. I think we've just avoided the rain. It's another review from the Average Golfer, and I think my overall assessment in terms of the product would be certainly well worth a try. If that's the category you're looking for in terms of the product, then give it a whirl. For me, the sound and the looks, not my cup of tea, but will still appeal to plenty. Hey? It is a David Attenborough moment, but seriously, it's this is probably the most interesting part of the review so far. If that doesn't move on that fence post, that's not false, by the way. It looks like an owl of some sort. Yeah, it's an owl. It's an owl. How pretty is that? You need to get close enough because that lens isn't catching him. That needs to fly off because I'm thinking it's false. Oh my God, it's not false, you know. That's real. It's false. Oh my God. He's really tame, isn't he?
Wow.
Nah, he's not bothered one bit. That's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?